What's up, everybody? Your favorite Seth Feroce here with another Steroids, Drugs, and Life, the intense video series to get everybody all fired up. We're doing this one from the truck. I just figured that now was the perfect time for me to say some shit, and this is the setting that I felt comfortable in. So, this series has become something that, again, gets everybody all fired up. Now, with that being said, it's good and bad. Good is in the fact that, I finally get to express things about things that I wish people talked about whenever I was up and coming as a competitor. This Steroids, Drugs, and Life series is all about you being able to gather information, whether it be scientific studies, bro science, or me just telling you actually what the fuck is going to happen. The real shit. So, everything that happens in here, steroids, drugs, and life, it's all about personal decision. Whether you take steroids, do drugs, or live life, it's going to be based on your decisions. If you take steroids, up to you. You do drugs, up to you. You live life, it's up to you, man. It's all on you. Now, we go through life trying to make sure that we make the best decisions possible, and sometimes they don't fucking turn out to be that way. With the steroids, I gravitated towards them because that was my personality. Very intense. And I had a goal of becoming a professional bodybuilder. And I get a question a lot, is it possible to become an IFBB pro without taking steroids? No, motherfucker. Not unless you're an alien. There might be like one person out of a million. So you're saying there's a chance. But that's pretty much it. But this series, what we're going to talk about now, and this one, I've been getting hit up a lot about this, and I never really understood or knew how big of a subject site enhancement was. So SARMs, peptides, site enhancement, site injections, and then some of the products with site enhancement. Synthol, I didn't know how big of a product it was, how widely used it was, and then something that's on the market now called Hydronics H2O. So we'll go through them, we'll talk about them, talk about some of the old school guys, and some of this new upcoming stuff, but I guess SARMs and peptides, I'll clear the air about this right now. I don't fucking like them. I don't take them, I never took them, or I never took them when I was competing. I've dabbled with the peptides with a couple, and I'll tell you this right now. If anybody out there is telling you that there are no side effects to something that you inject into your body, they're fucking lying to you. There are side effects to everything. There's side effects to fucking food, for Christ's sakes. McDonald's is right there. That's food, widely sold. It ain't good for you. So, throw that out whenever you hear, there's no side effects to peptides or SARMs. It's like saying, I'm going to leave it in and blow a load and I won't get the girl pregnant. Oh, bro, you're playing with fire there. But what I'm getting at is they're not for me. There's not enough research behind them, nor do I really feel comfortable with the whole continued statement, there's no side effects. I know what the side effects are from dianabol, from testosterone cypionate, from trenbolone acetate. We know the side effects. Now it's up to you on whether you want to do them or not. We know what the side effects to growth hormone are. Nobody's stating that there's no side effects to those drugs whatsoever. No one's saying that. We're saying there are. Here they are. It's up to you. It's a personal decision whether you want to take them or not. That's the game. That's why we love bodybuilding, because there's no rules. Bodybuilding was so appealing to me because I was able to say, so you're telling me you want me to get up on that stage, look as crazy as I can, and you're not going to tell me how to do it. You're just going to say, do whatever you want. I like that shit. That's why we all gravitate towards it, because it is such a fucking burning, desired sport where you just have this shit in your fucking gut that you're like, I'll do fucking anything to win. That's why we loved it. And that, again, is why I created the series, so that everybody that has that feeling, bro, you got to still keep a little bit of a level header. Like, keep that voice in the back of your head saying, hey, pay attention to this. Think about this. This can happen. so that whenever something does happen, because it's not a question of if, it's actually when, you don't get fucking blindsided, taken out and be like, I can't believe this happened. Shit's gonna fucking happen. So that's why I created this series. And I guess I went on a little bit of a rant there with it, but go back, watch the series. They're titled. You can go and listen and learn, and just don't come at me with the judgment shit. Okay? The judgment thing here is completely excluded because this is about life and your just decisions. It's what you want to do with your life, not anybody else. It's up to you. So I don't care if you go do CrossFit. For as gay and fucked up as people say it is, bro, if CrossFit makes you happy, fucking do it. You want to go fucking take a bunch of juice and do whatever, more power to you. Just don't expect everyone to accept it and be okay with it. Small, bald, small dick, juice head. That's what I got labeled whenever I first started doing this. Fucking people hated me. Oh, I don't give a fuck. Call me anything you want. This is my life and my decisions, and I'm going to enjoy it and do what I want. Now, on the other side of this, don't be a malicious dickhead. Don't do things with malicious intent to fuck things up. You know, be positive. Enjoy life. This is your life. And that fucking stupid cliche, you only live once. Or you kind of do, so enjoy it. But like I said, make sure that whenever, you know, you're doing these things, you keep in the back of your head, there's got to be that voice to let you know that these things can happen. With all that being said, let's get into this subject here. Hope you're all having fun. I'm having a blast today. Site enhancement, site injections, and some of the things along like Synthol, Hydronics H2O, and escalin. The escalin was an injectable. It was an injected substance that was widely used back in the 80s and 90s and early, I don't know if it's the 80s, 90s and early 2000s was widely used. The guy that created it, forgive me for my lack of knowledge in his name, but apparently he died, and he died with a recipe. Like an old lady with cookie and fucking sauce recipe. Didn't give it to nobody, so it couldn't be recreated. But it was widely used by all the guys that we loved back in the day. Lavroni, Flex Wheeler, they talk about it in some of their other stories that they told, where you inject it into the muscle group, it inflames, and I guess it holds that pump for like 36 hours. Look crazy. You didn't lose definition, you didn't lose vascularity, it just pumped it up and inflamed it where it would be crazy look. So they injected it all over their back, biceps, shoulders, wherever, and it would localize to that area and just blow you the fuck out and look crazy. Therefore, they didn't have to eat these massive quantities of food and get a distended stomach. They were able to keep a lean look, but also add a little bit of enhancement into the areas. It was like it's like an injectable pre-workout, but you didn't lose any fucking definition, vascularity, nothing. It didn't like thicken your skin or add water to the area. Still hard, shredded, grainy look. You're still able to attain all of that. That's no longer on the market. The dude that had the recipe didn't pass it on, so that's why it doesn't exist. Now, some people out there are probably like, that's fucking nuts, they did that. No rules in bodybuilding, remember that. With no rules, I mean, dude, that brings out that fucked up crazy side of us all that we all love and why we love this industry, this sport or entertainment business, whatever you want to call it. So question, would I take it if it was still on there? Fuck yeah. Bro, I will, this is the realness of this. We'll experience these things. Yeah, I definitely would. It'd be something I want to experience. So that was for site enhancement. Along that comes Synthol, but we'll talk about that in a second. Site injections are something that I get asked a lot about as well. Like, okay, a site injection would be, if I have to take testosterone, Trenbolin, or anything else, I'm going to have to put it in certain body parts. A lot of people know about hitting your butt cheeks, your legs, your shoulders, triceps, biceps. Some people go crazy and hit their traps, their lats. People have hit their calves. Now, you can't go doing all that. You can, doesn't mean it's going to feel good. But a site injection is anywhere that you're going to inject. And people used to be like, oh, they were doing this and that. Yeah, bro, you're going to run out of spots to hit yourself. And you got to put it in certain areas. Now, there's a lot of stuff on the internet you can read and learn about, and I won't go in depth into it, but there are certain drugs out there that you'll take, and whenever you inject them into a certain area, they'll localize to that area and inflame it a little bit more. So whenever, like Trenbolone, for example, yeah, it's going to localize and it's going to inflame that area. If you put a cc of Tren in each shoulder, those shoulders are going to become more capped, they're going to inflame, they're going to have more blood rushing to the area. Now, with that being said, that goes back to my philosophy of blood flow, nutrient flow, growth. So if we have something that is very inflamed and we train it, more blood's going to flow to that area, more nutrients are going to go. You're going to get a different look. We're going to stretch the muscle fascia. That's the goal, right? Stretch the muscle fascia so that we can continue to tear it the fuck down and just shove a ton of nutrients, fluids, everything to that area so that it gets bigger and it recovers better. That's how this works. So, so there are drugs that will be localized to that area. Winstrol's another one, Trenbolone, Masteron slightly. Testosterone, yes. Everything will to a certain extent, but those other ones I mentioned are more prone to do so. I used it to my advantage whenever I was doing those in training. I would use them to my advantage and hit those areas whenever I was training those body parts. I was never big on biceps. That's a big question. I didn't hit my biceps a lot. No, because I have decent genetics for biceps and arms to begin with. I did hit my triceps. Biceps are a very delicate muscle, very small. So be very careful. I wouldn't go shoving like a cc and a half into a bicep. Triceps, triceps, they never really gave me too much problems. I usually would only put 1 cc, maybe 1 1/4. Shoulders, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 at most. You got to be careful. One big thing with, again, whenever you're doing an injection, this is a crazy topic. People are probably going to give all kind of shit. But this is the crazy part of our sport, of this industry. You got to understand the anatomy of the body so that you understand how to put something into it. And again, whenever you're doing this, you can't always expect a good experience because these are foreign substances going into the body that your body is going to look at and might attack it. That's why getting quality stuff is so important, because if you use an oil that your body is allergic to or doesn't like, haywire, it's going to be like, fuck no, get it out of me, I don't like it, and it'll attack it, and it can end up causing serious inflammation. It can cause, some of you out there are probably like, yeah, like that big giant fucking infection I had on my shoulder. Your body could have attacked it and said it didn't like it, or you could have got dirt, or some type, you could have dirty shit, get it injected into your body. Those are things that need to be thought about when we're doing this. Again, there's a lot of information on the internet, and this goes back to personal choice and personal decision. The only way to really find out how it works for you is to try it. And that is the very fucked up part of all of this. Because right now, in the conversation I'm having with you, most people are having like a whole hard understanding of going, Jesus, this is what the fuck you guys do? This was the name of the game. That's it. So the other subject here, we'll get into Synthol. Not a big fan of it. At fucking all. Completely disagree with it. I believe that it's fake because it is a permanent oil that you inject into a certain body part. It stretches out, it fills the muscle, and then it stays there forever. Not like escalin that I talked about, which lasted about 36 hours of inflaming that certain body part or that area, and then it would inflame it, therefore stretching out the muscle fascia, and then it would dissipate. With the Synthol, you inject it into an area, and then it stretches and gets bigger, and then stays there. Synthol is a widely used substance. A lot of people use it. I didn't know until I started talking to a few people and learning that more people out there use it than I thought. Pros, included pros, top amateurs, regular fucking schmoes use it. It's crazy. I'm like, no. No, not for me. You can do it. I'm not saying it. I'm not judging you if you do. Fuck it. Have a ball. But if you ask me about it, I don't believe in it. Just the permanent part of it. It's not serving a purpose to aid you in like doing the work to grow and help you put in more work. Okay. It just did the work. Its job was to go in and just fill up your muscle without you having to do anything. I mean, some people will say that whenever they did the Synthol, they still work really hard. It just aided them with weaker body parts to give them a certain look they wanted. I can understand that. I've never been in a position where I have such a shitty body part that I needed to grow and use something such as that. No, just not for me. But if you are out there using it, I mean, you see, put it this way, dude. There are a lot of pros out there right now that are way past their heyday and, 30, 20 years after competition, and their arms are still round, and they're round and have that look to them, but everything else has shrunk, and you're like, oh, so you used a fuckload of Synthol. Yep, didn't admit it back in the day, said, no, I'd never use that. Now you just look like a dick. And some people do admit into using it and doing it, and it's fine, and I don't want to pass judgment upon it, but I just don't agree with it. I don't like it. So yeah, that's Synthol. Really widely used. Be very, very, very careful with it. Which leads me into the next Site Enhancement product out there that was brought to my attention, kind of how I learned about Synthol and its widely use, or how widely used it is Hydronics H2O by Nick Trigili. I've been asked a ton about it because Nick and I, I've known Nick for a while. I watched him turn pro, young guy. And he's pretty much the one that brought to my attention how widely used Synthol actually is. And again, I didn't know this. He trains a ton of people, is in the industry, knows, like I said, trains a lot of people and listens to people's past experiences and helps them, become better, learn more, become more educated. So he created this product called Hydronics H2O, which is hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid acts with water in the body. The goal here is to inject it into a certain body part, and it's going to help stretch out the muscle fascia, act with water, so that it's like an injectable pre-workout. You take it, it's going to act with water, more blood flow, more nutrient flow, stretch out the muscle fascia so that we can throw as much food, much nutrients into our bodies so that we get that area to grow. Thought it was pretty intriguing given the fact that it was like escalin, meaning that it is going to subside. It's not permanent. You actually have to put it to work. So that's how I looked at it and saying that, man, what an intriguing product. It's not something that's permanent, that's going to stay like that forever. Now, so from there, I said, okay, I'm interested. I'm interested in anything. Again, it acted like escalin, something that I was interested in, knew a little bit about, and wanted to try out. So I said, fuck it, let's give it a whirl. I'm interested. It's intriguing. I do these series, and I'm all about experiences and giving you guys information. So with that, my biggest thing that I wanted to learn from it was, how long is it going to take for a pump to wear off? Is it worth it? And it's not permanent. The not permanent thing was really big with me. So I said, fuck it, let's give it a whirl. So I did my biceps and I did my triceps. I put 1.5 cc into each bicep. What I wanted to see was, do I lose vascularity? Do I lose definition? Does it add a layer of water that is just disgusting and doesn't look right? No. Crazy fullness. I was able to, the pump was out of control. I didn't lose vascularity and I didn't lose definition. The pump that I gained from it, I lost within about 36 hours. The initial crazy pump I had was definitely a 12 hours. 24 hours later, I was still very full. 36 hours later is whenever I noticed that it began to have it began to subside. And about close to 48 hours, it didn't have anything left after that. And I said, wow, what an intriguing product, because I know I used it for about 4 weeks. And I noticed that, again, didn't lose any definition, didn't lose vascularity, and I was crazy full. Do I believe that it's something that can work for someone that has a very weak or lagging body parts? Absolutely. If you have phenomenal genetics and don't have a problem with fullness or growth in certain areas, no, I mean, but I tell you what, if you want a crazy pump or a crazy workout, Yeah, it was pretty intense. But again, my thing was, like, I wanted to experience it because I always was curious about escalin. Now, is it like escalin? I don't know. I never took escalin before. But I will say that if you have a lagging body part and are a competitor, this is the fucking intense side of bodybuilding. Let's get that straight. This is the really intense side. So yes, if you have lagging body parts you have lagging body parts, competition, trying to become better in those things, something worth looking into. Okay. Do I condone everything that I talk about in here? No, it's all personal decision. Don't get that fucking twisted. But this is definitely an alternative to other site enhancements. Yes, I wouldn't go with. I don't fuck with Synthol. No fucking way. This is something that will put all the work that you do. It'll help put it to work. Put your shit to work. But again, personal decision. Make sure that you're prepared for anything. For all the good that can happen from everything, from all the fucking sick and twisted great ideas that you all have or think that are possible, that I thought was possible, and then I made them reality. Fucking right, it was great. Don't think that there's not side effects. Don't think that, I have to go to the doctor and make sure everything's good. Have to go get blood work. Does it make me nervous when I go get blood work? Not so much anymore. I'm pretty good. But yeah. There are those times. Me, like I said, previous videos, my weakness, my fucking kidneys. Those are my things that I was weak in. That's what my body's weakness is, I guess we could say. So I don't like fucking with diuretics. Don't like fucking with a lot of orals. Liver and kidneys. You need those to live, so I like keeping them straight. Heart. That's why I do so much cardio. That's why I don't eat, really heavily shitty foods. I'm just a fat white guy to begin with. Can't make it any worse. But these things that I talked about in here, I just want to make sure we shed light on it. Inform you. This is the real side of things that a lot of people don't want talking about, especially not fucking site injection and site enhancement. Fuck no. Ain't nobody want to talk about that shit. But it's the real deal. So about it. I hope you all learned something. I enjoy these. This isn't for mainstream. This isn't for everybody that looks at us and is like, oh boy, I can't wait to do that. And they come and listen to this video and they're like, holy fuck, that was intense. So with that being said, I hope you all learned something. Like I said, do your research. Do your research on everything, whether it be site injections, and there's going to be just as much bad as there is good, if not a lot of fucking bad out there. Research. Check out Nick's stuff, Hydronics H2O. This is no bullshit stuff. This stuff is not, all this stuff in these series that I talk about, this isn't a joke. This isn't like trying a pre-workout. This is the real side of competitive bodybuilding. That's why I do these videos. So, hope you learned something, shed a little bit of light, enjoy the day. You know the drill. Once you get a hold of her, you better get her good. Don't want her going nowhere else on you.